My speech will start after 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, as member of government, will present several arguments regarding this motion, namely, this House would impoverish corruption. I do not agree with the statement impoverishing them means more burden on the country because the government needs to take care of them. This is irrelevant because later the result of corruption can no longer be searched and also later in prison there will be development of empowerment. So it is hoped that after prison you will get a job. And now, using the basis of Indonesian Corruption Watch, which notes that the amount of compensation and fines imposed by the government on corruptor has so far only reached less than 30% of state laws. From the data obtained by ICW from January to June 2016, the amount of sentence in the form of replacement money that must be returned by the corruptor is less than 30% of the total state loss incurred, which is 1.5 million rupiah. In addition, ICW also reports that the demand made by the public prosecutor are still too light compared to the loss caused by corruptors. Based on ICW monitoring during January to June 2016, the verdict for corruption defendant ranked from 2 years and 1 month in prison. In fact, prison sentence and like fines for corruptor will only benefit and reduce the deterrent effect for the corruptor. And now we move on Article 2, Paragraph 2 of Law Number 31 of 1990 concerning the crime of corruption or typical junto Law Number 20 of 2001. This article states that in the event that the criminal act of corruption as referred to in paragraph 1 is committed under certain circumstances, the person concerned can be sentenced to life imprisonment. In addition, I also use a mixed theory that combines ethical theory and utility theory that prioritizes expediency and justice, which in this justice will provide an impartial matter between the victim and the corruptor, in which the corruptor is protected by remains accountable for his action. And also, we use first in the Holy Quran as our argument basis. We use Surah Al-Baqarah ayah 188 and let not some of you eat up the health of others among you in a false way. And also in the verse of Al-Baqarah ayah 286, which reads that he gets a reward from the good he does and he gets punished from the evil he does, in which it is possible to impose sanction. This is namely taksir, such as a confiscation of asset or impoverishing the people. And in the international law, namely in UNCTAD, there are a series of guidelines in carrying out corruption eradication, including prevention effort, formulation of types of crime including corruption, law enforcement process, provision for international cooperation, and asset recovery mechanism, especially those that are transactional. Therefore, I will provide a solution in the form of law that is ius constituendum, in which there must be a weighting reason for the criminal codes which will add punishment for a certain reason in the form of impoverishment. In this case, corruption is included in a white-collar crime. Therefore, not everyone can commit corruption, so the punishment for this action must also be the effort of extraordinary. And this House strongly believes that the impoverishment for corruptor is a must. Thank you.
As a government whip, I'm going to deliver my supporting argument for the first and the second speaker. Before that, I will start with highlighting the opinions from both side perspective. From the opposition perspective, it is mostly about impoverishment of corruptors would lead to the corruptors become state burden. That is because of their being impoverished, they will be jobless, unemployed, and in need of money, which means the state needs to take care of them. The opposing side states that impoverishment is not an effective mechanism to prevent corruption. Opposition also says that impoverishment will destroy the life of the corrupting person. Thus, punishment for the corruptor shall be human and proportional. Meanwhile, in our perspective, impoverishment is the most human way to punish corruption. Impoverishment will not burden the state, but instead it will help the state financially because the payback money from the corruptors can be used to support healthcare and education facility. Impoverishment will make the corruptor doesn't want to corrupt again because of the consequence they will get, where they will become poor and jobless. Thus, from the opinion of both sides, we believe that impoverishment is a very effective and proportional mechanism to prevent corruption because the corruptor needs to pay back the money as much as he stole. In this case, corruption is included in a white-collar crime. Therefore, not everyone can commit corruption. So the punishment for his action must also be the effort of extraordinary. Your Honor, corruption is increasingly massive and widespread, not only by executive or legislative, but also in law enforcement officials. Criminal sanctions imposed on corruptors are not optimal and are not of action to a deterrent effect, so it is considered unfair by the public. Therefore, a new penal law perspective is necessary, which is more likely to be in the form of impoverishment sanctions against corruptors. In Indonesia, within the positive criminal law, there is no provision of impoverishment against corruptors. Therefore, there is a void of norms. In the end, we strongly argued the implementation impoverishment sanctions against corruptors for the redemption of state finance looted by corruptors for the welfare of the people. Because of that, we will provide a solution in the form of a law that is ius constituendum, in which there must be a weighing reason for the criminal code which will add punishment for certain reasons in the form of impoverishment. In Quran Surat Al-Baqarah ayat 286, he gets a reward for the good he works for, and he gets punished for the evil he does. Relating this ayah into our argument, we believe that the corruptor shall get the punishment as equivalent as what he did. But from the positive law and Islamic law perspective, it shows that impoverishment for corruptors is indeed encouraged. I will close my argument by using this Latin proverb, Equum et bonum est lex legum, which means what is just and good is the law. As the government whip, I strongly agree that this House will impoverish the corruptors supported by these arguments. Thank you.